Okay, as you're coming back in, let me know that you're here. Let me know that you are here if you're coming back in. I had to like jump out and redo the whole thing, which is unfortunate, but this is what I mean. Now, if my old perfectionism would have been here and been present right now, I would have completely lost my crap. But I don't feel that way anymore because I know that things happen, right? And it doesn't mean that we can't still do the thing. Okay. All right. So if you are coming back in, let me know that you're here. All right. We're back in action. Yes, we are, Terry. We are back in action. I'm going to wait for everybody to pop back in. Just as you're coming back in, just say hi so that I know that a majority of you are back in before I continue. All right. Perfect. I see Terry, Michaela, Katie. Okay. All right. Perfect. So let's recap a little bit because I don't know where that cut out at. So I want to recap. And I think that I saw a question that came in from Katie. And since Katie's here, I'm going to answer that question really quick. And I believe the question was, how can you give an example of moving through perfectionism and impulsivity? Was that correct, Katie? Is that the question? Now, if that is the question, let me start answering that, and I'll address any pieces I might have missed as you type the question into the comments. So moving through perfectionism, right? Moving through perfectionism means identifying when it's happening. Number one is, how do I know when it's happening? So if I find myself questioning what I'm doing, spending too long on activities, right? So like what I like to do is like, okay, it should take me approximately 20 to 30 minutes. I'll use creating content. It should take me approximately 20 to 30 minutes to create a post, right? And then if it's taking me longer than that, I stop. I just correct whatever I need to correct and I put it out into the world. Unless it's like a complete, like not, it's entirely incomplete. I will just put it out into the world. An example of this is I used to spend hours on emails and content and things like that because I'm literally blind to my own typos. Look, like there's a typo right here. You can't solve all of her problems. It should have been, or you will solve none. If I would have spent any longer on this, I would have drove myself freaking crazy, right? Just know that like giving yourself grace and permission to know that you're a human being, and like you're not going to get it perfect. There is no perfection, right? So one of the things that I like to do with people is I have them define what perfection is to me. So right now, the meaning and the definition that we have prescribed to perfection, right, is that it needs to be this, right? Some standard that we've created. If maybe we correct that and say that perfection is allowing myself to be imperfect and accepting myself, and that's what perfection looks like. Perfection looks like humanity. Perfection looks like human, and human beings are flawed. We can start to have a different response to how we do things, and it'll be easier to move around the idea of perfectionism when it has a different meaning and a different definition. Yeah, the difference between making quick decisions and impulsivity. You know what? I would say that impulsivity is something that is destructive, but there's pros and cons to everything, right? So my impulsivity allows me to take inspired action a lot of the time, right? So like I think that sometimes, especially as a woman in recovery, I've been conditioned to believe that impulsivity is a bad thing because my impulsivity used to be channeled in a way that was destructive in nature, right? Now, now I have better coping skills. Now I have better understanding. Now I don't destroy myself on a daily basis. So my impulsivity, now that I have like sorted out some of the old shame bullshit and some of the destructive behaviors, I can now work from a place of inspired action and make impulsive decisions. Sometimes you need to make a fucking impulsive decision and move. You need to make a decision and move. So I think that the difference between making quick decisions and impulsivity is the consideration that goes into it. There has to be a period of consideration, like what is the purpose of this? What is the intention of this, right? And then thinking about what could be the potential outcome. but not going too deep into all of this and going in like thought spirals, and just saying like, what is the benefit? Is this necessary? What is the intention behind it? What is the motive behind it? Move and go. Okay. All right. Yes, I love that. Harness the good that comes from the natural qualities. Yes, I used to be a grammar asshole, said Michaela. Yeah, get it, girl. All right, so let's move on. So now we're going to get some clarity and we're going to get some connection. So we have to connect to our own transformation in order to understand what it is that we do really well, the tools that we want to use, and what is the transformation that we're most connected to in getting our clients, right? So when we think, one of the questions that I do with my clients is in a heroine's journey, but what has my greatest transformation been? So I've had quite a few transformations, but the transformation that I want to offer to people is to overcome their doubt, overcome their perfectionism, transcend these blocks, right? So that they can feel confident and build a six-figure business. So I want to teach them aligned, authentic strategy, and I want to help them transcend their blocks that are holding them back from becoming and receiving. Okay. So I know that that's what my greatest transformation has been in the past few years, right? So I started off, and you see this picture over here on the left of me with the long hair. You can see that I look a little different, right? There's not this huge contrast there, but if you look in my eyes, there's something different happening there. This was burnout. This was burnout. This was me trying to put on a brave face. This was actually taken in my office when I was working as a therapist, and I had a caseload of like 10 people between facilities, and I was running groups of like 25 to 35 people who were in substance abuse, and I was working about 60 hours a week on top of full-time school and parenting and running an Etsy business. This is burnout, my loves. Now, the transformation that was perfectionism at its finest. That was me trying to do everything perfect, right? And trying to do all of the things all the time, overachiever mode to the finest. This is me today, putting in far less effort, destroying myself far less, and still able to live the dream that I wanted so badly when I was at this place. And that dream was to have freedom. That is a struggle smile, Michaela. That is a struggle smile. That is like, I just want to look cute. Please just make me look cute for a second, right? And this is like legit, like I'm happy. I'm happy with my life today. And this is the transformation that I want to provide to my clients, because where they are right now is they're stuck in a 9 to 5 that they hate, and they know that they're meant for more, and they want to live a freedom biz, and they want to make money, right? That is the goal. So that is the transformation. So I want you guys to sit now, and I want you to ask yourself, what is the greatest transformation that you have had maybe recently or in the past that you would like to offer to people? And then how we kind of get there and get more clarity around this is by asking, what do I love teaching? What do I first of all, I love teaching anything, but I love teaching anything in regards to psychology. I love teaching about like spirituality and manifestation and energy work. And I love teaching about how to build a freaking business. I love that. I found myself teaching people that for free when I was just running my empowerment coaching and burnout coaching. I was like, oh my God, you should be a coach, and this is how you do it. And like, I just found myself talking about that and teaching all the time. So there are clues. There are clues in your behaviors. Ask yourself, what is it that I love teaching? What do I talk about all the time? What is it that you talk about? What do you love teaching? What if I asked you to talk about right now? Could you go on and on for 45 minutes, right? Now, what tools did I or do I use? Now, for me, I use a lot of different tools, and I teach those in my program, right? So I teach a lot of mindset tools, but I also use a lot of tools in my business that I teach my clients, right? So I teach them about marketing, and I teach them about sales, and I teach them about building confidence, and I teach them about the energetic work of a business. So you need to ask yourself, what tools do I or do I use? And then what methods or interventions are you excited and passionate about? I'd like to hear about those. Why don't you put those in the comments? What methods and interventions are you excited and passionate about? So when you think about like what those are, for me, I'm really excited about doing any type of cognitive reprogramming. I'm really excited about addressing limiting beliefs. I'm really excited about digging into some of the shame beliefs that hold people back, right? I'm really excited about doing those things. I'm really excited about using those interventions and those methods. So what is it that you are excited about doing? And you're going to just write all those down on paper. So if you have your journal and your pen and paper with you right now, I'd like you to answer these questions. What has my greatest transformation been? What do I love teaching? What tools did I or do I use? And what methods or interventions am I excited to talk about? And don't worry, you guys are going to get copies of this, and you're also going to get a handout that'll be uploaded in the group this afternoon. So don't worry. Now that we've connected to our transformation, we need to connect to our soulmate client's transformation, which is very, very important, because we need to know, who is it for? What is the result they will have after your program, their biggest problem, their greatest desire? What do they need help with right now? And what do they want more than anything in the world? Okay. So right now, this is why we need to know who our soulmate client is. What is their biggest problem? I'd like you to tell me, what is your soulmate client's biggest problem right now? What is your soulmate client's biggest problem? And now here is where and I'm going to say something right now, but yeah, fuck it. I'm just gonna say it. So like, this is where the mind fuckery happens. Like we have to really like shift some perspectives in our mind to get here. So there is the problem that we believe our client has, or we know our client has. Then there is the problem that they believe they have. Okay. I thought my problem was my 9 to 5. I thought my problem was time. I thought those were my two problems, because if I had more time and if I didn't have my job, I could focus on my coaching business and I could do the work I needed to do, like build a website or create a program and build out all the course material and have a beautiful delivery system, like some of these other programs I had done, and do all of this shit. That is what I thought my problem was. And so when I quit my job and I tried to do all those things and still had no clients, I realized very quickly that that's not what my problem was. That those were just pieces of the puzzle. That my real problem is I had no idea how to market and sell online. I had no idea how to find and sign clients. That's what I realized my biggest problem was. Now, a business coach looking at me would say, I know her problem is that she doesn't know how to find and sign clients. But what I thought my problem is that I just didn't have a website and 10,000 followers and a beautiful course to deliver, right? All of that stuff can be done very quickly. Learning how to market and sell is a skill set that I needed, was a problem that I needed to solve in order to be able to have clients who were using those platforms that I had. Is this making sense? Is this making sense? Pam says, my soulmate client's biggest problem is confidence in themselves and their packages when reaching out to potential clients. I thought it was how they find their clients, but after taking a bunch of newer VAs, they're struggling with confidence. Exactly. So you know that probably in order to build that confidence, what they need is support and accountability and some clients, right? But right now that they feel like their biggest problem is confidence. So this is why we need to know. Living a life that's just going through the motions, feeling numb, disconnected, everything is okay, but nothing is great. So just feeling very apathetic. Now, they probably think that's because there's like nothing exciting in their life or their job sucks or whatever. But what you know deep within is that they need to reconnect to themselves in nature, right, Terry? Like that's what you know will help them. Exactly. Perfect. Okay. We're getting it, right? So we need to figure out, who is this program for? So that's our soulmate client. What is the result they will have after your program, right? So what is their biggest problem right now? What is the result that they will have afterward? So Pam, if you're marketing to your soulmate client, you are going to market confidence. You're going to sell the result of confidence, right? For Terry, you are going to sell the result of maybe connection or fulfillment, right? Or joy. What is their greatest desire? My soulmate's clients is unresolved emotional trauma and an unregulated nervous system, but they think it's alcohol, eating. Yes, absolutely. So we're going to stop the self-destructive behaviors, but behind that, inside of your program, you are going to confidence in clients, Pam. You are going to do the emotional work. You're going to do the unresolved trauma work. And then afterward, they won't have these, they won't have the destructive behaviors anymore. So if they don't have a destructive behavior, what is their greatest desire? So we need to always be offering the greatest desire, the transformation. So my client's greatest desire is to have 6 figures. That is my client's greatest desire. Now let's talk about a mindset trap that happens right here. A lot of people are scared to offer results. A lot of people are scared to offer sometimes it won't always be concrete or tangible, but a very clear defined result that is measurable, because they fear, right? This is the inner work. I won't be able to get them that result. It is not your job to make sure that they get the result. It is your job to teach them how to get the result. Confidence in clients. That's right, Pam. Boom. So what is the result, guys? What is the result? What do they need help with right now? What do they want more than anything in the world? That is what you are offering at the end as a result of them doing your program. That is what you're offering. Now, you can create a program without defining this. Sure, you can. But are you going to be able to sell that program? You might using the hope strategy, you might, for sure, of like posting and hoping, and some people will fall through the cracks and they'll get it and they'll highly resonate with it. But if you want to market and scale your business and have a very clear message, which creates dollar signs and clients and bigger impact, then you need to offer a result. All right. So once we clarify that, then we get into designing our program. So let's talk about it. There are some key decisions that we need to make in order to start designing our program. So number 1 is, how long will your program be? Most people want a program that is around 6 to 10 weeks. 8 is usually the magic number. 8 to 10, right? You'll notice that my programs are 5 weeks, 10 weeks, and 6 months. A 6-month program is definitely something that you can do, but there are some commitment issues that come up for people. They don't trust themselves to follow through for 6 months. They're scared to make a 6-month investment. So that's not necessarily the best place to start. The best place to start for a program is around 8 to 10 weeks. So you want to have a program that people are willing to commit to, that doesn't scare them, but that can also offer results. So you want to stay in that framework of what's been proven to work and what's been proven in a buyer's psychology of what they're willing to commit to. But also you need to ask yourself, how long is it going to take for somebody to see change and get the result, right? So I know that using my method inside the Coach Prep School, that my clients can start signing clients within the first 2 weeks, right? But in order to master marketing and sales, they need more time than that. They need some time with me, and they need some time to practice. So I designed my program so that my clients can immediately start signing clients and start getting on the phone and talking and marketing, so that they can master these skill sets in the time that they have with me. Now, they are going to get really good at them, and they'll be able to scale to 5K in the Coach Prep School. But what happens after the 5 weeks? There's still some more to learn about the psychology of sales and marketing and overcoming our own bullshit. right? Our own self-doubt, our own fear, all the shame programming, if there's trauma programming, all of that. And this is why I take a trauma-informed approach, is because I know that this stuff gets activated as we're starting businesses. So now as they come into the 10-week program with me, we can start to address that more. And then my 6-month mastermind, we really dig deep into the inner healing, because in order to scale, it requires deeper levels of healing. So we do more healing, we learn more about our own psychology, about the psychology of sales and marketing, and we get to become experts, right? So that is how I've determined how long my programs are. So I want you guys to think about that for yourself. The first program that you offer should really be between that 8 to 10 week mark, so that you can offer those concrete results to your clients, and also you can offer a price point, because now we're going to talk about that, is how much you can offer a price point that helps you scale your business. Because when we're determining how much our program is, we should think about how much do I want to make a month? How much do I need to pay my bills? Because you want to be a full-time coach. So how much is there, right? And then we have to look at the energy component. Then we have to look at the intuitive component. Is how much am I really willing to ask for? How much do I feel confident asking for? And then deciding that number and pushing ourselves past it just a little bit. Right? So I know when I first started that I was like, okay, I'm going to charge $1,500 for my program, right? But I sat with $1,500 and it felt really scary for me. So I did $1,200. $1,200 was where I landed when I thought about the intuitive nature of my pricing. And I thought that was fair because I was offering an 8-week program, right? It was my first time coaching. So I thought that that was fair. That number felt really good to me. Now, I also realized that in order for me to hit 10K, I was going to have to sell 10 of those, right? Now, I had in my mind that I was going to launch and sign 10 people, but I didn't have the right support or strategy to do that. So that didn't happen the first time. So I didn't have any clients the first time because I went through a course, and most of you know my story. But then when I hired a one-on-one coach, I had my old program at that price, but then I raised my price for my new program to $2,500. And I sold 10K in programs within 45 days. And 2 of those were from my burnout. And then I sold 5 of my empowerment coaching program. So that was really powerful. And a lot of that happened just from knowing how to market and sell, and then referrals that came in from a few of the clients that I got because they freaking loved me, and your clients are going to love you guys too. But you need to think about how much. You need to think about how much is this going to be? Is it a number that I feel confident asking for? And is it a number that will help me reach my goal? Then where this is the delivery method. So I want you guys to hear this. If you are just starting your program, you do not need a membership site. So for those of you who are in the Coach Prep School, I have a membership site, right? I have a course delivery platform that I put you guys through. You do an account login, that whole thing. Some of you might have used this in other programs. You do not need that when you're first starting out. You can simply deliver your program through email, right? Where you have the email, you have the week 1, this is what we're talking about, this is what you need to learn. You can record videos or you can do handouts. You can do whatever you want. Videos are easier for teaching, but some people you need to ask your client too, are you an audio or a visual learner? And that will help. Maybe you just give them handouts then. And then you have your objective for that week, which we're going to go over all of that. So you're basically going to take like the outline of what we're doing in this program and then put it into email form. Now, you can also do this through a closed Facebook group. Like this is the whole purpose of you guys being in this closed Facebook group, right? Is to show you how you can do this for your groups. So if you are doing weekly modules, you can just upload them into units in a group, and you can deliver everything through a closed Facebook group where you just add your members. As soon as they pay, they get added to the group, and then you deliver everything through that group. If you are just starting and you're not making at least 10K in your business a month, you do not need to pay for membership sites or platforms. You can do everything through email and a closed Facebook group. So you need to decide where you're going to do that at. All right, it looks like my graphic didn't go behind. All right, so we have now where we need to figure out what are the priority problems. What are the problems that need to be solved right away? So what is your soulmate client? Where is your soulmate client right now in her journey? What problems are stopping her from getting the results she desires? What 5 to 7 problems does she need your help with? So this is where we're going to look at exactly what needs to happen for them right now. What are their biggest 5 to 7 problems? What needs to be solved for them? So if their problem is, I'll use one of mine, for example. So if their problem is they don't have any clients and they don't feel confident, I need to figure out what is the priority here? What needs to happen first? So do they need a client or do they need to feel confident first? No, they need to feel confident. Okay, well, what's stopping them from feeling confident? Okay, there's some mindset work that needs to be done. There's some self-esteem building that needs to be done. And then they need to take some action to start building some new evidence for that, right? So now they need clients. So, okay, what do they need to get clients? And I could go into this forever, but the top things that they need to get clients is they need to know how to market, and they need to know how to sell, and they need to know how to find those clients. Right? So they need to know how to do they need to know how to do outbound marketing. They need to know how to do attraction marketing, and they need to know how to sell a program and get on the phone with people, right? So that they can get clients. I've just addressed about 6 problems or 7 problems, I wasn't counting, of my client. Those are the main ones I know that they need. Those are the main things I know that they need. So now I'm going to have those 5 to 7 things. And I know that the results that she requires at the end of each of those are confidence, belief, marketing, and sales. Those are the 4 things that she needs to solve in order to be successful in her business. Okay. So I would like to just see what you guys think are the problems of your clients. So drop them in the comments. Let me see what you think are some of the number 1 priority problem that needs to be addressed first for your clients. Let's see if we can figure that out. So like for me, I looked at what needs to be solved and I decided that confidence was the number 1 priority problem that needed to be solved for her. Okay. Now remember, you cannot help with everything and you are not fixing her, you're coaching her. All right. So now we're going to make a list of all the problems you want to coach your soulmate client on. So you need to think about all the different things that you want to help them with, all the different things, write them all down, because I bet there's a lot of things that you thought of outside of that 5 to 7. So here's your chance to brainstorm everything, is to just brainstorm all of it. Write it all down, put it all on paper, look at all the shit that you want to do. And that's all you're going to do at this point. You're simply just writing it down. Every single idea that comes to mind or that you've thought about helping them with, you're going to write it down. I see some of the problems: awareness and understanding, confidence. So awareness and understanding, how do you build awareness? What is it that she needs? And starting to look at that. And then confidence, for sure. Confidence, for sure. All right. So after you complete your brainstorm and looking at all of the problems that you want to solve, so there's a very different thing, all of the problems that you want to solve. You want to solve confidence, you want to solve body image, you want to solve boundaries, you want to solve self-esteem, you want to solve people pleasing, you want to solve self-care, you want to solve toxic patterns, you want to solve limiting beliefs. You're going to write down all those problems the first time. Now you're going to brain dump what you want to do with them. Okay. So I know you guys think of all these amazing things that you want to do. Well, I want them to read this book, and I want them to watch this video, and I want them to do this habit, and I want them to start walking every day, and I want them to meditate, and I want them to create a self-care list, and I want them to change their diet, and I want them to start listening to these certain podcasts for motivation, or whatever it is. Okay. You're going to write down all of the ideas, techniques, habits, activities, interventions, etc. that you want to use. Okay, well, I know I want to use CBT with my client, and I know that I want to use this really powerful coaching approach that I learned, and I know I want to do this assessment, and I know I want to do that. You're going to write down all of it. All of it. You're just going to get it all out of your head. Put it all onto paper so that it's somewhere. So the first step in this is you're going to brainstorm what are the problems that you want to solve, and then you're going to brain dump what you want to do with them. So basically, what are the problems that you want to help them solve? And then what do you want to do to help them solve those problems? If you're following, give me a thumbs up. Let me know that you are following right now and give me a thumbs up so that I know that we can move on to the next part of designing your program, because we're starting to get some clarity now. We're starting to get it all out of our head and we're going to start organizing it. So if you are following me, give me a thumbs up. All right. So now, all right, perfect. I see thumbs up coming through. All right. So now we're going to get into the top 5, right? This is where we already started doing this work, but now we're going to make some decisions. Decide on the top 5 big problems you will assist your clients with. All right. We're going to pick 5 of their biggest problems. So I told you guys, mine was mindset, right? It was mindset, confidence, their program, marketing, sales. That is the 5 things that I cover in the Coach Prep School, right? So there can be, you don't have to do 5, you could do 4 or you could do 6. Like, don't get super concrete on the number. I just like to keep it at 5 because that's a really solid number. People like the number 5, 5-step method, 5-step process. People like that number. It's a psychological thing, right? But I know, like, there are 4 things that somebody needs to master in order to be successful in the online world, right? And that is the belief in themselves, that is marketing, that is sales, and that is mindset. If they can master those 4 things, or they can master those 4 things. I got confused. That was number 5. Then they will be successful, right? So like, those are the 4 things I usually talk about. My program has 5 main things that we cover, right, in the Coach Prep School. Now, as you're going to see with your signature program, you can build this out or break it down. But you want to figure out, for this signature program, what are the top 5 big problems that you're going to solve? What are those big problems? Now, don't get stuck here, because you can solve smaller problems within the big problem. That's what we're going to look at when we're designing what's going to happen in each of your steps. All right. So now, once we figured out what are those top 5 problems, now we're going to go back into priority mode, right? So we need to know our soulmate clients. What are their biggest challenges? What do they need first to prepare them for the work? Then what would you need? Then what would need to be done? Look at your list and create a timeline of healing for your soulmate client. So we want to create that trajectory now. Now we're going to look at it and we're going to break it down, and we're going to look at, what does it look like for them? Where do they need to start? Where do they need to end? And then what step needs to happen next, right? So if I was looking at, somebody give me a result. Who wants me to break down their healing timeline for them? Somebody give me what it is that they want for their healing timeline. So I would look at, I'll do Katie and I'll do whoever pops in next. I'll do Katie because I'm familiar with Katie and what she does. So Katie wants to help them solve their old traumatic past and some of the emotional disturbances that are leading them to having these self-destructive behaviors. So what is the first thing that needs to happen for them? I would say that the first thing that needs to happen is education, and they need to start building some coping skills. So I would educate them on the coping skills that they need in order to start dealing with the distress tolerance. I wouldn't jump right into having them to looking at their trauma and doing like this deep dig within, because that's going to be too much for their system. They need to create a baseline of stability before we start digging into deeper topics, right? So I would educate them first, like just from a very neutral place. I would educate them about what trauma does to us and how that impacts us and how this contributes to these behaviors. I wouldn't have them look at their trauma. I would just educate them and give them an overview. Then, right, I would shift into educating them about coping skills to help with some of these things, right, and building resiliency. And I would work on that in my first step of my process. I would work on building a really solid foundation of coping. Then I would say, okay, well, after they have the coping skills, what needs to happen next? what needs to happen next? I know at the end, they're not going to use these patterns anymore. And I want to talk about self-care, and I want to talk about their eating, and I want to talk about all that. But maybe what I need to do next is have now that they have some resiliency, maybe I need to have them create a routine, right? Maybe now in step 2, I have them create a healing routine where they start really practicing that. They build rituals and routines around their healing. Then in week 3, we dig into the trauma, because now I know in week 1 and week 2, I've built trust and rapport, so they'll be willing to talk to me about it. And I've also got them in a really stable foundational place, right? And then maybe I've done some other really cool things with them about adjusting diet and habit stacking and some really great things within that bigger timeline. But now I'm going to look at their trauma. So now we're going to dig deep. So week 3 is about digging deep, right? Week 3, we're going to dig deep. We're going to do a deep dive within, and we're going to start addressing that trauma, right? And now maybe I would spend like 2 weeks here in looking at the trauma, right? So step 3 might take 2 weeks. And I would look at that. Okay, so now that they've done the trauma, now we're going to start talking about eliminating some of these behaviors, right? And looking at how to, depending on what you're going to do in your program, there could do a lot of different things here. It could be about like building support and community. It could be about self-care. It could be about self-esteem building, whatever, right? And then the next thing that they do is what? And then what? Right. So this is, and I don't know exactly what you want to do inside of your program. So I'm not gonna like go all the way to the end, but that gives you a nice idea of what I mean by creating a timeline of healing. Overcome victim consciousness is what Vanessa said. So like, if we do that, if we think about like, what is the first thing that they need to understand? Okay, well, they need to be able, that's a pretty safe place to start, where you could do education and then look at what is victim consciousness and explain to them, and then have them observe for a week, how is victim consciousness coming up in their life? Okay, so now in step 2, we start looking at the victor mentality, right? So now we get into the victor mentality, and what do they need in order to create a victor mentality, and then putting that into that part. And now they work on creating that. So that could also be like, looking at doing like mindfulness, like thought observation, like what tools are you going to use to help them get there, right? And then we start having them maybe do some evidence building, some fact finding, some actions that are going to help them get out of that victim consciousness, or a visualization, like embodying who they want to be, because I know that's part of your program, Vanessa, right? So we can look at that. Self-love and body positivity. So I think the first thing for that would be, you could do a few things with this, Crystal. So it's like thinking about who your soulmate client is and what she's struggling with the most. But I would immediately jump into like destructive thoughts, like looking at like, okay, well, how do you look at yourself now? Like, and how would you like to look at yourself? So maybe doing like a self-love ideal, right? Like, and starting there with that client. It all just depends on what your soulmate client needs. And then after that, you could look at, it depends on the approach that you're taking too. If you're taking a more spiritual approach, you could do like movement and things like that, and like connecting to body. But also like being nice. So maybe that's affirmations and creating like a self-care routine in order for them to connect themselves, and then shifting into whatever else you're going to do in your program, depending on like if you're doing like weight loss or something, then it might be diet, whatever. All right. So are you guys following me? Give me a thumbs up. So now we have our healing timeline. So now's the fun part. Now we get to bring it all together. Okay. So now that we have our healing timeline, like I just gave you guys, now we can look at, okay, this is what I do in week 1. And this is what I do in step 1. This is what I do in step 2. And then after you have your step-by-step process and your week-by-week process, then you're going to give it a catchy name or title. This is how we brand. Okay. Branding is super important, because when you brand something and you make it your own, and you're like, I have this 5-step method called the Coach Prep School, and we identify your unique solution, you become a master at marketing, and you become a heart-centered seller, and these types of terms, they position me as an authority and an expert in my space. So it's one of the ways to create authority and expertise. And when you have authority and expertise, you create trust. People buy from people that they trust. People buy from people that are confident. People buy from people that are clear on their results. So you create authority and expertise by speaking to your one transformation and having a process, being able to communicate. I have this 5-step process that that takes you from here to here and gets you this result, right? And then if anybody asks, okay, well, week 1 we do unique solution, in week 2 we do this, in week 3 we do that, in week 4 we do this, in week 5 we do this, or in step 1 we do this, step 2 we do this, and you don't have to go into all this shit. Because here's the thing is that most people, when you are, and we're going to get into this when we're talking about marketing, when you're marketing, people don't really care so much about the actual things that you do inside of your program. Like if you tell them, oh, we do affirmations and we do all of this and we do all of that, like most people don't connect to that. They connect to the transformation that you get, right? They kind of tune out at that point and they're like, wait, what are we doing again? Wait, I feel like crap. How are you going to make me not feel like crap? How will I feel after I do your program? That's what they want to know. So we don't want to get too caught up in that in our marketing, but we need to know for ourselves to build confidence so that we can clearly communicate it and concisely communicate it. So then for each week, in order to decide what you're going to do and make it super simple so you're not overwhelming your clients, you don't want to give, yes, I totally got tripped up on that. Yeah. So here's the thing is that we don't want to overwhelm our clients. We do not want to overwhelm them with a bunch of shit because A, they're not going to do it. I love you all, but you know what I'm saying, because I bet you haven't done it, right? Like how many times has somebody been like, hey, do these 5 things, and you're like, I don't have time, or you procrastinate or whatever. So we don't want to give our clients too much. We want to choose what is going to be most impactful for them and what will get them the greatest results. So then for each week and each step, you're going to ask yourself, what did they need to learn? Or what do they need to learn? What do they need to do? And what do they need to have? Right? All right, so let me give you an example. Like for my step 5, becoming a confident seller, right? They need to learn what selling is, and they need to learn about their limited beliefs around selling. What do they need to do? They need to reprogram their beliefs around selling, and they need to start practicing selling. What do they need to have in order to be a confident seller? They need a sales script. They need to have a objection handling script, and they need to know, and they need practice and they need to have practice, and they need to have training. So I will provide a training video on how to use the script. I will provide trainings on how to do that in coaching calls. I will provide specific practice calls training. That's something I'm doing in my mastermind where I sell you your program and you get to practice selling your program to me, right? We create your own script, right? So we look at like what it is that they need to have in order to be successful after they learn, and what they need to do in order to build the belief. Okay. So when we're looking at those 3 things, we can very easily create an outline for what needs to happen each week in our program instead of getting super fucking overwhelmed. Let me explain something to you guys. So when I was working as a therapist down here, I was in mental health, and there's different levels of care for mental health. There's detox, there is inpatient, and there is partial outpatient or partial inpatient, and then there's outpatient. I created the curriculums for each of the inpatient, partial outpatient, and outpatient programs for 2 facilities. So when you're looking at that, they had different, one was 30 days, one was 8 weeks, one was potentially 9 months. So I needed to do this exact process and figure out what needed to be done with them in their groups in order for them to get maximum benefit from their treatment. This process is exactly what I used. And it helped me a lot to figure out what needed to do, because guess what? They had groups every single day, and they had 5 groups a day. So I had to break this down even further and figure out what needed to happen in each group. So the best way to do this is to figure out themes, to figure out topics, just like you guys are doing, and then break it down even smaller. Okay. So what do they need to learn? What do they need to do? What do they need to have? Right? So what do they need to learn? Okay. They need to learn these 3 things. What do they need to do? They need to take these 3 actions. What do they need to have? Then that's what I'm providing as a coach to them. Okay. They need accountability and support. That's what we're giving them throughout the whole thing. They need accountability and support, and they need coaching, right? They also need some resources. They also need some tools, right? And this is where I mean, do not get caught up in building all this stuff out. You're just listing out what they could potentially need. Okay, maybe they need a training video. Maybe they need a worksheet. Maybe they need a guide. Maybe they need, maybe we need to create an action plan together in their first session or something like that, and figuring it out. Maybe they need a contract to commit. Like that's something else that we do inside my program, commitment contract. So you're going to ask yourself these 3 questions. Is this making sense? Please let me know, because you guys got quiet for a minute on me. So let me know that this is making sense to you. So we're going to bring it together. We're going to break it down into weeks or steps. We're going to give each week or step a name, a catchy branded name. And then we're going to figure out what's needed each week for that client to be successful. All right, now here comes the fun part. This is where perfectionism and all of the over-analysis stuff gets to come up. Now you're gonna name your program. So your program name should be clear. It should be clear about what it does. It should be clear about what it does. So for example, the Coach Prep School, it prepares you to be a coach, right? It prepares you to be a successful coach. And I will tell you what, I named that program. I got a download for that program and it came and I was just like, okay, here we go, right? I was like, okay, here we go. Like, I'm just going to name this shit and I'm going to take massive imperfect action. I will probably rename that in the future because it's not entirely clear as to the result, right? Like my result is that they're going to feel confident and get clients. So I would like to like the confident coach and the confident high profit, or I don't know, whatever. See, I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but I do want to rename that in the future. Now, for example, 5K and Beyond Academy, that's very clear. That is very clear on what that provides. You are going to get to 5K and beyond, right? And if you're a new coach, you know what I'm talking about there. My messaging also makes that very clear. And this is where the alignment needs to happen, is like you need to constantly be speaking about the results and the transformation, like in your marketing statement and in the things that you do. And if you don't know what that is, if you don't know what I just said, if you don't know what that is, then we need to talk because you need to have one. And you need to have your programs align with your marketing and with your message. So it should be clear on what it does. Now, for example, one way that you can help with this is by doing a poll with your audience as you're naming, right? So like I'm launching the 6-month mastermind that I have, Rich, Resilient, and Free. I wanted to name that the 10K Energy Academy. Or something. I don't even know. 10K Energy Container. That's what I wanted to name that. I thought that was so cool. I loved it. But I was like, you know what? Let me pull in people because I had a few different ideas and I wasn't really sure. And Rich, Resilient, and Free was one of them. So I put that up and I made a poll. No one liked the one that I liked. Everyone liked Rich, Resilient, and Free. And that also is a marketing tool that you can use to create excitement, which we're going to talk about in marketing, that you can create excitement around the thing that you're selling. So having polling your audience, if you can't decide on a name, or brainstorming some names and then polling your audience, is a really great way to decide on your program name and what resonates with your soulmate clients. Does anybody have a name for their program? Let me hear it. I want to see it in the comments. Then underneath you always need to come up with a subtitle for your program. So who is it for in the transformation? So the Coach Prep School, the group coaching program for new coaches who want to launch and scale their business to 5K, right? Boom, done. It's over. I got a subtitle. It's not a problem. Now that is very clear, right? We don't need to overthink this. We just need to take it and break it down. Now I'm also going to, I will also do this with some of you right now. I was thinking the VA effect, but I think it needs to get clearer. Embracing energy is what I was thinking. So it's speaking to the result. So Crystal, so for example, Crystal, if your result is self-love and body positivity, or it's self-love really, and confidence is your result. Embracing energy, that's confusing to me. That would make me think that I'm going to be maybe doing like a adrenal fatigue program, or like a chronic fatigue program or something like that, or feeling, or that could even be like a spiritual thing. So if more for, and you see it like, and you see like sometimes we're like, oh, this is so cute and I love this name and it's a super cute name, but it doesn't speak to the results of other people and the results that they're looking for from us, right? Like there's a disconnect. So maybe for you, it'd be like it would be like embracing self-love, or like loving yourself again, or the path to self-love, or like the self-love level up, or something like that. Yeah, again, like this is why, like, I am by no means like super creative when it comes to naming programs, but you see what I'm doing, right? Like we have to start. This is why another thing that you need to do: journey to self-love. Boom, Amanda just said journey to self-love. Love that. You could totally do that. And that would be something like, okay, so the journey to self-love. Another thing that I like to do during this time is I'll write down my result at the top, right? And then I'll write down a bunch of synonyms for my result. And then I'll put it on all different kinds of sentences, right? Like I'll write down some buzzwords that I know I want in there. Like for me, if I'm speaking to so let me give you guys an example. So like if I'm speaking to, I'm a trauma-informed business coach. So what buzzwords come along with somebody what words resonate with my soulmate client who has probably done some trauma healing and is aware of how this affects her, right? And she's maybe had some therapy or done some programs or done some coaching. Resilient. And I know that my soulmate client loves Brene Brown, right? She loves Brene Brown, or like Glennon Doyle, or like Rachel Hollis, or Jen Sincero, and like they use those words. So I like the word resilient. Okay. Now my result is that they're going to get money. They want to be wealthy. They want to have a 6-figure income. They want to be rich. Ooh, okay. Rich and resilient. There's 2 R's, right? So now what is the thing that they value the most? Like, what do they want more than anything? They want freedom. They want freedom from this fucking 9 to 5 that's crushing their soul. They want freedom with their schedule. They want freedom with all of that. So the word free, right? And so now I brainstorm a bunch of other ones, but then you just start putting them together. Oh, rich, resilient, and free, right? And then my subtitle calls out my person. For the high vibe coach who wants to create a resilient mindset, step into the next level of wealth, and create a freedom biz. All right. Boom. Hit 6-figure, get 6-figure freedom. There it is. My subtitle calls it out. So my name connects, my subtitle calls them out. Are you guys getting it? Let me see. I was thinking, I love this, the butterfly effect. Yes, so I was trying to go for a minute. Yes, I love it. So like, and so now but your result is confidence, right? Your result is confidence. The VA effect, right, is good, but maybe effect needs to change. I love that you have VA in there. Or you could even say like the confident VA effects, right? Or the what's another synonym for confident? The empowered VA effect, right? Or something like that. The if you want to offer, if you were offering a money result, or if you wanted to, the sold out, the booked out VA effect. The booked out VA effect, or the booked out VA program, or something like that, right? You see how I'm speaking to them because they want clients, they want confidence. So like they want confidence and clients. So what does a confident VA with clients have? She's booked out. She's booked out. She's booked out. Like her calendar's booked out. So I would think about that. All right. So we don't want to spend too much time here, but confidence, clarity, and clients. Boom. See, there it is. Confidence, clarity, and clients. Whenever you can put the letters together, it's really great. All right. So now let's talk about this. This is what we want to do next. Okay. This is what we need to do in order to scale our business. So now that we have our design, now that we have our program design, we're going to look at it. We're going to look at it and we are going to decide, how can I maybe break this? There it is, Michaela, the badass VA effect. I kind of, the book, yeah, I like that. I like that. Now creating a journey, right? So what small, so we need to figure out right here is what we're doing with our signature program. This is where we're at. We are creating a big transformation with high level support. That's our signature program. So like, as you guys will see, and I've been kind of sharing my client journey with you, like most of my clients start at the coach prep school. Then they move into a one-on-one 10-week. And then they move into what is now my signature program and will be continue to be my signature program, which is my 6-month program. Big transformation, high level support. The highest level of support they can have with me, the biggest transformation that I am offering, right? And then here they have a medium transformation with a moderate support. And then here they have a small transformation with less support. So this is like group coaching, like even like Voxer support or something like that, just Voxer support. And then here is like, okay, this is my maybe like one-on-one with like a course attached to it. So it's like they're getting a good level of support. They're going to get great results, but the biggest result is going to come from the highest level of support. So having a big transformation with high level support. So for example, a hybrid program where I'm going to be doing group coaching, one-on-one, and Voxer support. That is the highest level of support you can get from me, because not only are you getting one-on-one, but you're getting group coaching and Voxer support. And Voxer support is fucking game changing. And you guys can offer that to your clients as well. And they get a huge transformation because we're getting up. I'm going to teach them everything that I have in my business to now hit 20 and 30K months consistently, right? So like this is a huge transformation. So if I start here with this program, what I could do is break it down. Or you can take your signature program, which was the 5K and Beyond Academy, which was my first signature program, and break it down into something smaller and then create something bigger as you learn more and you grow more, right? Because we should be constantly investing in ourselves and becoming the master of our craft. So once I maybe had a signature program that was here, now it moved down the line into the medium. And now I have a bigger one because I've learned more and added more and created more. So we need to create our signature program and then break it down. What is Voxer support? Voxer support is a walkie-talkie service. So like literally right now, as we're talking, I've gotten like 3 Voxer messages from clients who are asking me questions about stuff they're doing in their daily process, right? So like I will have clients pop in on Voxer and be like, hey, what do I say in this DM? Hey, I need help with this part of my program. Hey, I just got off of a coaching call. Can you give me some feedback on how I handled this, right? Or, hey, look, I'm about to put this post up. Can you look at it really quick? Or just like, hey, I woke up today and I'm fucking doubting everything that I'm doing in my life and I need some help, right? And then we'll do like breakthrough sessions right there in Voxer. So Voxer is fun I love Voxer. It's super fun. But it's a high level of support. However, you can have a high level of support down here. You could do that as a smaller program. Like, look, I just got another Voxer message. You could do that down here and not offer a course or any type of modules or emails or anything like that. And then that's like, they're not getting all of your amazing knowledge, but they have your support to make it through whatever they're going through at that period of time in their business or life or relationship or whatever. So yes, we want to create a journey for our clients. This is also how we will scale our business, because if I'm selling a high ticket program over here, and then I'm also selling my lower level course offerings over here, this becomes down here. This is actually passive income. This will eventually become passive income in your business. This will be base revenue in your business. So if I have a program that's $5,000 a month, that's $800 a month on a payment plan. That is base revenue in my business. If I have 10 people in that program, that's $8,000 a month coming in. Next month, with my base revenue, I have somewhere around $8,200 to $9,000 coming in. I haven't done the exact math on it. That's with nothing. That's if I don't do anything. And it will stay like that for the next 4 months, because of the program offerings and the support that I provide and the payment plan structures that I've created, because I've been very intentional about them to create a base revenue in my business. So I literally don't have to sign anybody for the next 3 months, and I'll be almost at 10K and be hitting I'll hit 6 figures next year if I kept that base revenue coming in. And it will keep coming in, and it's going to keep getting more and more and more and more, because I'm going to be putting more people into my programs, right? and it's going to just get better and better and better. And then the passive income starts to come in, right? And the passive income's on top of that. And then you have other programs that you have, and then it creates more, right? This is why we need a signature program, because it creates less stress on ourselves. We can literally just take that signature program and break it down into multiple things. So for example, I have how to design your signature program in the Coach Prep School. So I took that and created a masterclass that most of you are in, that most of you paid for. Some of you got gifted as the little giveaway that I did in the Coach Prep School. But most of you paid for, and here you are. Right. And I've taken just something that I already had and basically just repurposed it into an additional way for people to work with me at a smaller level. This is why we need to have a journey. So let's talk about marketing. So there are some marketing musts. First of all, in order to market your program effectively, you need to have the energy and confidence connected to that program. What I mean by this is you need to be so in love with your program that you literally can't stop talking about it. When I ask you out your program, you should be like, oh my God, I cannot wait to tell you about this program. It is amazing, right? It takes people from here to here. And I have this method that I use, and it is fucking transformational. And it gets you these results, right? That is the energy and confidence that you need to have when you're talking about your program. In your marketing, you are always selling. You might be selling in different ways, but you are always selling. When you are showing up on social media, you are always selling. Sometimes you're selling through educational posts. Sometimes you're selling through straight out like, hey, who wants to sign up with me posts, right? Like, hey, I'm looking for 5 people who are ready to sign up in this program right now. And that can look different from a day-to-day basis, but you are always selling. You are always talking about what you do and the results that you offer and the transformation that you provide and what you do in your business, right? You're not. And a lot of the times, let me clarify this. A lot of the times how you're selling is just by being you. You're selling by being authentic and sharing and being vulnerable and sharing your amazingness with the world and building that trust factor like that. So sometimes selling just looks like, hey, this is who I am in all of my raw and perfect glory, and connecting with your soulmate client that way. Right? So like when I share about like the healing journeys that I'm on and stuff, like my clients care about that. They want to hear about that because they feel connected and they feel seen when I share about those things, because they're on a healing journey as well. Right? They feel excited when they get to know me, and I show them like inside my house or like with my kid. Like that's fun for them too. I get a lot of engagement on that. Then it's also just like, here's this offer that I have, want to come? I'm going to come to this amazing fucking program that I have. You want to get these results that you're guaranteed to get if you work with me? And that's like how confident you need to be. But just remember, you are always selling. You can't sell too much. Then create excitement. So you need to create excitement around your programs, like letting people know, like, this is why you want to do this. This is how long it's going to be for. Look at all the people who are signing up. I'm so excited about this. Excitement is contagious. So you need to be talking about how excited you are about your program, and then creating curiosity around it. So like, for example, I did a post, just before we hopped on here in my stories, and I was just clicking through the slides, and I did like a behind the scenes. And I just like, oh, look, and there's this many people in the group, right? So there's like the excitement and there's social proof in that, right? And there's FOMO. Like, you don't want to miss out. Like, look at all these people who are attending this group. Look at how cool these slides look. Look at how amazing they're in a closed Facebook community, right? Because I think this is a pretty freaking cool offer. I'm really fucking excited about this offer. I've been excited about this offer, and I've been talking about it because I'm excited about it. So it doesn't feel weird to talk about because I'm excited about it. And I love doing this. I love teaching this topic, right? And this is bringing everything together that we've been talking about this entire time. And then you want to create curiosity, like, oh my God, what is she doing, for those people who haven't seen? And here's the thing, is that like 1 to 3% of your audience is actually seeing what you're posting. So if you have an audience of 2,000 people, like I think I'm almost to 3,000, that means that my shit's showing up on about like 10 to 30 people's feeds out of those 3,000 people. right? And those are people that are always looking at my stuff anyway. So, and some of those people will eventually buy it from me. Some of them have already bought from me. And so I want to generate new leads into my business. So how do I do that? And this is why you need to have organic lead gen in your business so that you can get visible AF in front of people. And this is also why you need to always be selling, because not everybody's seeing your post all the time. So they might miss it, right? So we need to be consistent. So creating curiosity, social proof, sharing testimonials, sharing people in the program, sharing people signing up creates FOMO and urgency, having timers and limits on spaces and things like that. Now you need to be consistent, and you need to talk about your own journey, and you need to share about your clients' journeys. So being consistent means showing up. You don't need to maybe post on your feed every day. It's really quality over quantity there, but you do need to be posting at least 5 times a week. And you need to be showing up in your stories every day, and you need to be doing all this. And like, sometimes I get resistance here because people are like, oh, but I don't want to post every day, and I don't want to show up in my stories every day. And I would have to challenge you and ask you, well, what the fuck are you doing in your business every day? What is this? You know, like, what else would you be working on? Like, yeah, you might have a website and maybe you need to work on your program a little bit, but like, those things don't bring you clients. What are you doing to get clients every day in your business? If there's resistance around showing up on social media, let's look at that. Let's figure out a way to make it that you can do it that feels good for you. Let's figure out a way that engagement feels good for you. But like, is this a business or a hobby? And I will ask people questions like that straight out, because sometimes it needs to be reflected at them that way, because this is like your office, guys. Social media is your office. Marketing is your knowing how to market with intention, knowing how to market strategically, while also doing it in a way that feels really good and aligned for you, is how you will be successful in your business. Marketing is an absolute necessary skill that you must master, as well as sales. Confidence, mindset, and all that stuff, we can work on it throughout the process, but these are actual skill sets that need to be acquired and mastered in order for you to be successful online. And then eventually, if you don't like doing them that much, you can hire other people to do that shit for you once you're making money. But like, do you want to build your business? How much of a priority is it for you to make this shit happen? That's the question, right? So then you're going to create an irresistible offer. And how you do this is by adding bonuses and incentives, right? So like, maybe the bonus is that they get additional sessions with you. So anybody who signed up on the last time around in the Coach Prep School, anybody who signed up, how I create an irresistible offer with that and made an incentive for people to sign up on the call with me or in the initial DM conversation, was by offering 2 individual sessions. Not everybody who signs up in the Coach Prep School got individual sessions, because not everybody signed up within the 24 hours or on that call. I didn't even do 24 hours for most people. Some people I did if I knew they had to like go get a credit card or something. But like, the 24-hour window is usually what we do on sales calls, right? And create an incentive for them. Are you guys following this? Let me know. Let me brainstorm some, and you want to create a bonus that is not going to be something that requires like a lot of additional effort from you. So it's not going to be like, hey, you get this additional course that I haven't created yet. Like, no, we're not going to do that. Maybe it's just some extra time with you, or maybe it's access to something you've already created, right? So are you understanding how to add a bonus and create incentives? You can also do this with like flash sales and promo periods. A lot of people will do this during launches. So you want to have like an early bird or a pre-sale pricing and things like that. You'll see me doing a lot of that. Like most of you signed up for the early bird on this. Most of you signed up for the early bird on this. So this is something that you guys need to brainstorm about and think about, and bonuses and incentives that you can do. So now I want to show you what happens when you have these when you have this structure in your business. So this is Chloe. Chloe was my client, and she completed the 5K and Beyond Academy with me. She recently just quit her 9-to-5. She made back the investment halfway through with me. She's working with high-level one-on-ones, and she's no longer letting perfectionism hold her back. There's testimonials for Chloe on my Instagram. You can check those out. But like, she was working at a company in a corporate position that she freaking hated. We started working together. We sorted out this first because I knew what to do in my program first. We sorted out that so that she could take action. And then she immediately started signing high-level clients. We designed her program. She is selling out this program and doing it so much so that she made back her investment less than halfway through, right? And she quit her 9-to-5. And now she can invest all of her time into her business. So what do you think is going to happen now? It's going to scale even further. And she has a program that she can systemize and sell over and over and over again, and that she has branded and is attractive to her soulmate clients. And then I have Linnell. Linnell and I worked together, and she started selling corporate coaching to groups and also doing one-on-one clients. So she made $7K within the 10 weeks of working with me. Most of that came in the last 5 weeks after we designed her program. So basically she made $7K in 5 weeks of working with me once she designed her program. So she signed a corporate coaching gig and one-on-one clients. And now she's in my mentorship client. Now she's in our mentorship, my monthly mentorship through Voxer. And we're creating 14-day courses that she's already selling out. And she just completed her certification from the Jay Shetty program. And now she's signing other people from her program into her coaching. So other coaches into her coaching. Then I have Catherine. Catherine started working with me, and she started selling to one-on-one clients within like the first 2 weeks. So most of my clients average 2 to 4 clients within the first 4 weeks of working with me. And then she started doing a group coaching program when she entered into mentorship with me. And now she just did the second launch of her group coaching program. And you probably saw some testimonials from her in my Align to Thrive group, because she's my greatest hype person and I love her so much. And I could keep going on and on with this forever, but like the biggest result for her is that she feels confident. And she's like closing sales calls, and she's showing up, and she's being visible, and she's being consistent, and she's holding the belief and doing everything that she needs to do. And that's why she's able to have group coaching and one-on-one now. So she's divvied up her program. She's also done lower offerings. Like we did a promo for her during Black Friday. I helped her work that out. And we did like a 7-day course that she offered for anxiety and all of this stuff. And the whole time she's been gaining clarity, and she just finally has like finalized what her niche is going to be. But even through that process, she was able to do all of this. And this is just some of the other things I've already made back. And this is what happens when you have this type of program, when you have this type of system in your business, guys. And most of you know, because some of you have already started signing clients and are close to 10K mark with me because you've been doing it. So there's 4 things that you need to master to sell out high ticket programs that hit 6 figures. And that's the mindset, the belief, marketing, and sales. And once you can master these 4 things, your 5K, 8K, 10K, 20K months are inevitable. But it has to start here. It has to start with the mindset and the belief, and having the accountability and support throughout this process to master that mindset and belief, and then mastering these 2 skills of marketing and sales. And what will happen is once you master this marketing, clients will just start popping in your inbox asking how to work with you. How do I work with you? Last month, I made $32,000, $32,000 and some change. And about 85% of the clients that signed up with me were people who reached out to me in the DM asking how to work with me. It wasn't like that in the beginning, but because I've mastered my marketing and because I know how to sell and I can sell in DMs now, that has happened. So I would like to invite you guys, because I've created a 6-month mastermind for high vibe coaches. I've been talking about this throughout the entire thing. Who want to have 6 figures and feel confident and transcend blocks. So I've created a 6-month container for those who are ready to step into next level wealth and resilience toward their 6-figure freedom. Now, this program is going to help you master all of those skills that I've been talking about so that you can sell out your offers and generate that consistent cash flow and clients. So for anybody who wants and is interested and wants to come work with me in this program, I'm offering $1,000 off enrollment for all the women attending this masterclass, plus 2 additional 90-minute sessions to perfect your product suite, which is what we were talking about with that client journey, and plan a launch for your signature program, which is a $644 value. Now, this is for action takers and is only available for the next 24 hours. So if you're interested, drop Rich in the comments right now, and I will reach out to you. We'll get you signed up. We'll get you in it, because this is only going to be available. This right here is only available for those of you who attended the live. And if you want to sign up, now is the time. because I've already sold 3 seats in that and there's only 8 available. So there's 5 seats left. So if you're interested, then reach out to me or drop Rich in the comments right now, and we can talk about how to get you signed up. All right, so let's take some questions. Who has questions about their signature program? And I know that there's a bit of a delay, so I'm gonna let you guys catch up because I'm watching from my phone right now. So if you have questions, go ahead and put them in the comments, and let's go ahead and answer any questions that you have about your signature program and how you would like to design that or brand it or market it, any questions that you have. So we've learned how to design that program, the method to create your step-by-step process, how to brand it, and then how to market it. What questions do we have about any of those areas? And I don't see any questions coming through, so let's see what happens. And remember, you can always put questions in the group as well. If you're watching the replay, you can put questions in the group that I will answer. You can share them in post, or you can comment on the live video. All right. I don't see any questions coming through. So if there, here we go. How can you help with perfectionism? Perfectionism. So one of the things about perfectionism is that would be looking at the beliefs about why you believe that you need to be perfect, right? So if we were going to deal with perfectionism, where we really need to dig into is the shame-based beliefs that are causing you to feel like you need to be perfect, right? That are causing you feel like that your program needs to be perfect. So some of the actions that we might take is having you do things that are imperfect and getting really comfortable with that imperfection, getting visible, being vulnerable. And so that would require like a belief assessment and like a breakthrough session to sit down and look at all of those things, because it's really specific to the individual. But ultimately, like I teach in my programs, is that massive imperfect action is just putting yourself out there. And it's not something that's going to get solved right in 1 second, but it's something that you take action towards to resolve and towards observing and choosing different, right? So I can see very clearly when my perfectionism tendencies are coming up, and then I will ultimately just choose different, right? Like, and it gets to be that easy. But in the beginning, it's about really like seeing where it's coming from, understanding it, and then taking the actions to reprogram the mind. So reprogramming the beliefs through our thoughts, and then reprogramming the beliefs through our actions. I've recently changed the focus of my coaching business. What are the key actions I should consider when I'm designing my program? My top 3 tips when designing your program are knowing the result that you're offering, not getting stuck in building the entire process out, and just being very clear about where your client is when they start with you and what transformation they're going to get after you. Because here's the thing too, guys, is that you can coach, you can sell a program and then get clear about what you're going to do in each session with that person and help that person allow you to create your individual program. When you're very clear on, like, number 1, what is the result? Number 2, what are the biggest problems that are attached to this result? And number 3, how will I deliver this to them? And what will I charge? So making the key decisions, knowing the transformation, and knowing their top 3 to 5 problems is what I would say are the top 3 tips for designing your program. I compare myself a lot with other coaches. What's your take on that? So comparison is a big challenge for most people, right? So one of the first things that I would suggest in order to start dealing with the comparison is to eliminate people that make you feel like shit on your feed. Who are you comparing yourself to, right? Who are you comparing yourself to? So I know that there are some coaches that I compare myself to a lot and I feel triggered by them, right? So what I will do is I will ask myself, what is it that makes me feel triggered by them? So when I'm comparing myself to them, what is coming up for me? All right, so when I compare myself to them, what's coming up is a lot of shame shit. Like, okay, I don't feel good enough. Am I missing something? Am I not doing it right? Right. And all those questioning beliefs. And so now if it's a trigger that I can't manage and I can't get to the point where it's not triggering anymore, I need to eliminate that trigger from my life, right? I need to eliminate it so that it's not there. But I also need to be aware of the trigger and work through it. Okay. So number one, in order to allow myself to process and heal and build the self-esteem and the self-confidence and reprogram these beliefs about myself and my abilities, is I need to stop being triggered. Okay. Like from that specific person. Triggers are actually really good and they help us learn and they're an opportunity. But I would remove the people that are triggering me on a daily basis, because if I'm constantly triggered, it means I'm constantly in my amygdala, and it means that I'm not going to be able to objectively look at the situation and heal what's going on inside of me, and be able to shift into a different part of my brain to process. So I need to eliminate the trigger. Then I need to go within and do that deep inner work that that I'm going to be doing more so, and have that support and that accountability for a longer period of time, and be able to look deep within and see what is within me that is making me feel so triggered by these people. What about me do I not believe is good enough? What about me do I believe is defective? What about me do I believe that I can't trust or that I can't accept, right? And coming to acceptance with self, learning how to love self, and learning how to honor the triggers, but allow ourselves to grow from them instead of self-destruct from them. Did that make sense, Pam? Did I answer your question? Shame. What makes a good program? Is the techniques you are using? Is it duration? Is it the bonuses that are offered? Advice on how to advertise your program, interactive videos, speaking about it, infographics. What makes a good program? You make a good program. You are the program. You are making the good program. A good program is something that is delivered with ease, that's easy to understand, and that doesn't overwhelm the person, right? It's organized, it's prioritized, and it doesn't overwhelm. Is it the techniques you are using? Is it the duration? We're all using basically the same techniques, Dee. But most of us are using the same techniques. There's no original thing here that's happening. We're just learning how to frame them in different ways. The duration, kind of like we talked about, it needs to be between 8 and 10 weeks. That's usually the best course of action for people to commit to on a psychological level. That's what they're ready to commit to. And that's usually a good time to get people results, right? Because they say, it's not true, but they say a habit takes 21 days. It actually takes about 6 months to create new habits and new belief systems. But you can be well on your way towards that in about 60 days, which is 8 weeks. So 8 weeks is usually a good period, 10 period. And it's also the amount of time that people are usually willing to commit to. So that is part of it. Is it the bonuses that are offered? I mean, the bonuses that are offered make it irresistible, but it doesn't necessarily make it good. I think that this goes back. I think that the belief behind this is that, and not just for you, Dee, but for most of us, and this is why a lot of people get caught up in designing their program and in this space and not taking action, is because in the end, they feel like they're not good enough to get their clients' results. And that's a really hard thing to overcome without just taking action and signing clients and working through it and starting to build the belief and having the evidence and your identity as a coach. Advice on how to advertise your program, interactive videos, speaking about it, infographics, always. Everything. So designing your program, not designing your program, advertising your program is marketing. So when we were talking about marketing, yes, you're always selling. So you need to be showing up on your stories consistently. It depends on in the promo period that you're in. So like if I'm in a promo period, I'm advertising my program every single day in my stories. I'm talking about it in my feed. I have specific copy that I walk through to sell. I have sales copy. I have sales graphics that hit on the key points that need to happen when you're selling in a story. I am constantly talking about it. I'm going live in my group. I'm pitching. I'm doing interactive video. I'm doing workshops. I'm doing challenges. I'm doing all of the things I'm constantly talking about. This is what I mean by like, we're always selling. So we need to constantly be referencing our programs and letting people know that they exist and how to work with us. So all of the above. You're so welcome. Any other questions, guys? Any other questions on designing your program? Mastering Yo Method. Okay, I think that's it. You guys are amazing. And I'm so happy that you joined today. And I appreciate your grace because we did go a little bit over the 90 minutes, but I am so happy that all of you came. And I am delighted to be in this group with you for the next 7 days. So if you have any questions or you're watching the replay, let me know, put them in the group. And again, don't forget, you guys have that bonus that I'm offering to you for the Rich, Resilient, and Free Mastermind, where you get $1,000 off and 2 bonus sessions to plan a launch and design your product suite. And that's a life changer, guys. That will help you scale to those 10K months for sure, without a doubt. That is what you will get inside that program, as well as a lot of belief restructuring and confidence building and inner healing. All right, you are so welcome, Katie. Yes, this will be saved, Pam. It will be in the group for the next 7 days. Okay. All right, ladies, enjoy your day. Let me know what questions you have in the group. You guys are amazing, and I'll see you on the next one.